Hello everyone, welcome to today's review of a wonderful Chinatown restaurant. You know, I have few regrets in my life. My first was allowing anyone to take pictures of me wearing a leisure suit. Then when I was 10, I traded my Mickey Mantle baseball card for a pet rock. Finally, why didn't I listen to my friends when Bitcoin was at 10 cents? But not coming to this restaurant years ago now tops them all. I had read the good Yelps, I'd heard favorable comments from friends. I'd even driven past their two locations many times. Not so much the one on South Rainbow in our burgeoning second Chinatown, but many times their location in Chinatown proper. I mean, it's right there on Spring Mountain next to the Shanghai Plaza. I guess something about the name, Taiwan Deli, made me think this was some super specialized place catering only to the Taiwan population and wouldn't be welcoming to Westerners barging into their inner sanctum. Or that it would be the purveyors of exotic dishes not well suited to the Western palate. Wow, was I wrong. And don't you make the same mistake. Coming here is like entering another world, yes, but one in which you'll find a long-lost aunt. She insists you call her Auntie Bowman. She's warm and welcoming, not to mention an amazing cook preparing foods you're gonna love. At Taiwan Deli, you're going to enter a world of long-lost recipes and secret sauces. And not like the secret sauce you get at McDonald's. More like ancient Chinese secrets with dark shrouded mysteries surrounding them. Have you ever had a Taiwan breakfast? Have you ever tasted dumplings so good you craved them days later? After finally trying Taiwan Deli, the pressing question was this: should I keep this gem to myself or divulge it and tell the world? Or at least to our viewers. Taiwan Deli is one of the best kept non-secrets in Las Vegas. It's a true gem, right here in the heart of our Vegas Chinatown, and you should check it out. And at the end of the video, we'll be letting you in on a special offer available only to our viewers. As I've mentioned before, when I was a teen, I was mentored by my adopted mother, Rose, owner of the Chinese Tea House restaurant in Torrance, California. She and my real mother, coincidentally also named Rose, used to both get on my case for putting sugar in my tea. They'd say,
"True tea lovers don't use sugar."
I'd always tell them that though tea came from China originally, the English drink more than anyone except the Chinese, and they love it with not only sugar but milk. This is very special tea. It comes from Taiwan, where the best tea is grown up in the mountains. Make sure to ask about their $1 million tea. It's quite a story. There must be nearly a pound of meat in this beef wrap. I don't see how they sell them at such a reasonable price. Except that, despite the rising costs today, they still want everyone to be able to enjoy their wonderful food, and have simply refused to raise prices. These surpass any other beef wrap I've ever eaten. Filled with this beautifully slow-roasted beef like you've never tasted in your life. They're almost the size of my arm. You can tell a lot of love went into these. There's also that amazing taste of Taiwan seasoning, somewhat similar to Chinese five-spice, cinnamon, allspice, and ginger in the background of the beef. I can eat this all day. So crispy, and not a single atom of grease to be found in this basil shaken chicken. Look at the beautiful golden brown coating, lots of pepper and spice. The aromatics are like a gorgeous bouquet of flowers punching you in the face and waking up all your senses. I love this dish. It's always been one of my favorite ways to eat fried chicken. It's the chicken they made at the restaurant of my childhood that I've told you about many times before, called the Paddock in Del Mar, California. My mother and I were obsessive about it and could never figure out the secret spice profile. Well, here it is again. It must be a Taiwan recipe. It's a sensation here. Probably the best version I've tasted at any Chinese or Taiwan restaurant so far. Bite into the inside. It's so moist and juicy, so fresh and bursting with flavor. This is what the perfect Taiwan chicken should taste like. Impossibly light and airy, so fresh, they're made to order. The guy in the kitchen has been making them for over 50 years. These are some of the best Chinese donuts I've ever tasted. They're meant to dip into homemade soy milk, but they're so good just like this. We've never met a donut we didn't like, but these make most pale by comparison. They remind me of the zeppeli my grandmother made every Sunday afternoon. I could eat these anytime. They were so good, we took home 2 orders of these where I sprinkled granulated sugar on them and made pigs of ourselves, devouring every last one. This is another must-try item. Not really a sandwich, but simply a sesame bun. Auntie Bowman suggests they should be used to make a sandwich using Chinese sausage or any of the egg items on the menu. But we have so much here today, I'm just eating them on their own, and they are delicious. They remind me of a croissant, layers of very buttery and flaky, deliciously yeasty dough that simply melts in your mouth. Despite being recommended with egg, beef, or sausage, really, they're the perfect vehicle for anything you'd put in a sandwich. Welcome to the wonderful world of the Taiwanese breakfast, my friends. You may never be the same. Here's your introduction to a whole new world. You're supposed to eat these egg pancakes with the baked sandwich we just showed you. They're great to put inside, and I'm sure they're fantastic that way, but I just wanted to have them on their own. They're so wonderful. I don't know how or why I've never tasted them, but this is breakfast at its finest. And if you love eggs, you must try these. Kind of like the marriage of an omelet and a burrito. The light pastry on the outside is so delicious with a light charred flavor. Fluffy, delicate, and pure, and with slight hints of chives. Fantastic. Imagine the best potato pancake. Then you'll know what a Daikon radish cake should taste like. Crispy on the outside and tender and moist on the inside. Sometimes these cakes taste fishy, but I don't think there's even any fish in these. Auntie told us one of her secrets. She learned to make these with much less non-radish filler than usual. I wondered how she imparted so much radish flavor into these wonderful cakes. And they're even better with this secret sauce they make in-house. Probably the best I've tasted besides Rainbow Kitchen. This is one of my favorite things to get when I go for dim sum, and these are just exceptional. I hope when you come here, you'll ask for them. And this sauce, wow, it's so wonderful. I'm eating it on everything. It's great on these chicken and beef rolls as well. I can see why people get so hooked to these Taiwanese rice wraps. They only make 50 each day, and when they're all gone, you'll have to wait till the next morning to get some. This limited supply is true of most things here. I've heard from some of the Yelps that when people got here late in the day, they were out of almost everything. There's pork on the inside in the form of this wonderful, what they call floss. It's a cross between spun glass and cotton candy in texture, but tastes like a wonderful umami bomb. They give you more for dipping, and if nobody were looking, I'd eat it all with a spoon. It's meant to dip the rice wraps into. It's strange and hard to describe. It's sweet, but not sweet, porky, and yet aromatically light. I never had anything like this, to be honest, and I'm loving it. It's always fun to be introduced to something new and unusual like this, especially when they're so delectable. These are the type of snack that the Taiwanese take on picnics. Auntie told us that the other day, a group that frequents her restaurant came in and bought her out. They were going to the Grand Canyon and they wanted them as a snack. They're a cross between a burrito, a sandwich, and a savory pork sushi, if that makes sense. Well, sense or no, if you're here and lucky enough to get them, you won't be sorry. I love anything pickled, and I've had many a pickled cabbage, but these are probably the best I've tasted. Tart, spicy, and I can't for the life of me figure out what other spice is in here. They almost taste like a Korean cabbage, but more on the sweet side. I wish my mom were here to taste these. She loves pickled cabbage. And these are your classic pickled cucumbers. Again, they almost remind me of a Korean pickle, and I'm totally obsessed with them. They have a sort of sesame oil flavor, and they're sweet and spicy. I can taste some kind of chili on them as well. I could eat a big bowl of these and nothing else. They are just wonderful. Finally, there is this stinking tofu. Okay, I'm not a fan of this, but I know it's an acquired taste. I don't hate it. It tastes like a crispy fried tofu, but with a little fermented and a little bit sour taste. The sauce is sweet and helps to balance out the flavor, but it's my least favorite thing I've had here. Perhaps it would have been more appetizing without the word stink in it. Look at the beautiful pockets of air and the many layers of this delicious homemade pastry. Not your ordinary green onion pancakes by any means. The flavors are very subtle. The pancake itself is a great dough, but not a lot of chive. I think it's a very good pancake and reminds me of a puff pastry dough in flavor, but not texture. It reminds me of fried dough, and being a dough lover, that's not a bad thing. Rich beef chuck and tender, melt-in-your-mouth tendon, cooked long and slow in a savory broth. Then added are the perfect al dente noodles, topped with fermented radish, bok choy, and green onions. This broth will melt the hearts of even the coldest critic. I'm sure many of you also love this dish. It's what they serve at every noodle house in the city, and this is as good as any I've ever tasted. The broth is rich, and you can taste the beefy goodness. It's tendon and so tender, it just falls apart in your mouth almost without chewing. The noodles put up a fight, nice and chewy the way we like them. I'm loving the bok choy in here as well. If we weren't trying so many things, I'd be happy just eating a big bowl of this on its own. This is the ultimate comfort food, and Taiwanese cooking at its finest. We were talking to a woman at the next table who's from Taiwan named Swan, and she's loving the soup here. She just arrived and was told by her friends she could find authentic Taiwanese comfort food here. She says this place tastes just like home to her. This is one of my all-time favorite recipes in Taiwanese or Chinese cuisine. I grew up with my mom making a similar recipe since she loved this dish as well. Marinated ground pork with white pepper and allspice, slowly cooked for many hours, then topped with freshly steamed bok choy, tea eggs, and homemade pickled radish, all served on top of rice. This is the best comfort food you'll find anywhere. You'll want to lose yourself in this bowl of nourishing, wholesome goodness. Dive in and enjoy. Let me start off by saying this is a very rich broth that has a very strong chicken flavor. Doctors don't know why exactly, but chicken soup has been shown to reduce the effects and duration of the common cold.
Warning, the creators of this video are not doctors and are not providing medical advice.
The soup is fantastic. The wontons are made completely from scratch, starting with the dough. I'm buying a bag of these today from the freezer case to take home. The filling is another story. Ground pork and cabbage. There's a slight taste of sesame oil in this broth that's highly enticing. If nobody's looking, I might just have to pick up the bowl and drink down the broth. I also love the julienne egg and green onions that top this soup. They add another level of flavor to the complexity of this dish. It's truly wonderful. These pork potstickers are wonderful. I love the homemade pastry. They make it fresh daily in the kitchen, and you'll know after just one bite. The filling is a delicious mixture of cabbage and ground pork, and it's very well seasoned. These are anything but bland. I love how toasted they are after being steamed. They're positively stunning and taste even better than they look. The sauce is a mixture of soy, vinegar, and chili, and it's perfectly balanced. Another must-try dish. Fish ball soup. Not something I'd usually think to order, but our new friend at the next table, Miss Swan, insisted I try it. I'm so glad we did. Look at these beautiful fish balls. Not at all fishy, and sort of remind me of a Taiwan-style matzo ball. They have pork mixed in, and the broth is very chickeny. These green onions give it a great boost. I just love this broth. Almost all cultures have their own form of dumpling, little packages stuffed with meat or cheese. And the only thing better than dumplings is more dumplings. These are the steamed version of the Potstickers, and they're fabulous. I'm taking a bag of these home too. I love this place. It's like a trip to dumpling heaven. This is some of the best dough I've ever tasted. Kind of reminds me of the homemade ravioli I grew up eating. Well, the Asian version anyway. I love the garlic, pork, white pepper, and Napa cabbage they're filled with. I could eat 100 of these. This dough is probably the best I've ever tasted. So complex, because it's made with milk and it gives it a richness most dough lacks. I can tell all the buns here are going to be great. So light and perfectly steamed. If you ever watched any cooking shows where the contestants try to make these types of buns, you'll understand they're very difficult to execute.
They usually end up being an epic fail.
These buns, however, complete winners. They're perfect for eating with these Taiwan sausages. And speaking of Taiwan sausage, I love these. They're an umami wallop, very boldly seasoned. They go so well with these homemade buns. Try them in a little piece of this sliced garlic and it's heaven on earth in your mouth. We love homemade sausage and these are terrific. I'm not even going to try to guess what's in them, but I know you're going to love them every bit as much as we did. I love sweet red bean filling. My sister fell in love with them while she lived in Japan. They're huge there, and as a kid, she got me hooked on them when she returned. We used to get them in Little Tokyo and downtown LA all the time. The combination of the sweet red beans and this amazing dough brings back memories of being a kid and tasting them for the first time. You're going to love these too. It will be love at first bite. And more great buns, this time filled with wonderful pork and cabbage and seasoned to perfection. I'd be happy just having a bunch of these on their own and nothing else. Look how juicy these are. Absolutely fantastic. These steamed sausage buns normally come as a set of 3, but we just have one mixed in with our order so we could try it. I've had these many times at dim sum, but this is much better than the ones I've had there. First of all, the size is twice as large, and the sausage is amazing. Maybe one of the best Chinese sausages I've tasted. You already know how much I like the homemade dough here, and with this wonderful sausage, it's perfection. Red sugar cake. What makes these so great is the milk all the buns have, but then additionally, these include brown sugar in the dough. I love the intense sweetness from the brown sugar contrasted with the tart cranberries. These are a perfect end to a great and unique meal. I highly recommend them. In conclusion, finding a rare gem like Taiwan Deli isn't just like finding a new restaurant. It's like finding a home away from home. The warm service and great food you'll find here are unparalleled, and you'll immediately feel as though you've been coming here for years within minutes of sitting down. If you're seeking a Taiwan-style breakfast, or terrific homemade dumplings, or fantastic steamed buns, or authentically prepared Taiwan cuisine, all in a warm, inviting environment, you're going to love Taiwan Deli. As one Yelper put it, this place will revive your soul. And finally, here is the offer we told you about. Auntie Bowman is offering 10% off to anyone who tells him, "Let's Eat Vegas" sent you. Wow, you can't get a better deal than that. I know we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos and not participating. As a reminder, please like, comment, subscribe, or even become a VIP member. It means a lot to us, and it helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!